Good day everyone, this is Alexander Melgar. Today I am going to show you how the Renaissance and Baroque styles have influenced Philippine art, sculptures, and architecture. Renaissance and Baroque styles influences in Philippine art, sculpture, and architecture. Renaissance style of art. Where did it come from? The Renaissance style started in Italy circa 1400 and has become widespread in Europe, including Spain. Even if the Renaissance period ended circa 1650, influences from this period still remained and has become part of the culture of countries that are former colonies of European countries. Renaissance style of art is characterized by realism, in which the human body and its proportional proportions are all being observed. Influences of the Renaissance style came to the Philippines through the Spanish colonization. Renaissance style influences in Philippine art. Painters such as Juan Luna, Fernando Amorsolo, and Felix Resurrección Hidalgo use realism to convey their messages. This is a painting by Felix Resurrección Hidalgo titled Las Vírgenes Cristianas Expuestas al Populacho. This painting by Felix Resurrección Hidalgo shows Roman men watching their fellow man strip a Christian woman of her clothes, while the other Christian woman bows her head in despair as the Roman men have stripped her of all her clothes. This painting of his has some elements of Renaissance style of painting, as the brush strokes make the whole painting realistic. Through this painting, Felix Resurrección Hidalgo criticized the lamentable conditions of the Philippines while being ruled by the Spaniards. The historical context of this painting is that it represents how pagan Romans persecuted Christians to the point of stripping them of their dignity as citizens. In this painting, the Christian women represent the citizens of the Philippines. The Roman men represent the Spaniards who colonized the Philippines, and the clothes of the Christian women representing the rights of the Philippine citizens. What Felix Resurrección Hidalgo is trying to imply through this painting is that the Spaniards are stripping the Philippine citizens of their rights, and these actions have to be stopped. This is a painting by Juan Luna. This painting by Juan Luna shows Roman soldiers dragging the corpses of dead gladiators while the crowd is being frantically sorrowful since their dead relatives are just being dragged away from the arena. It shows that Romans are obsessed with gory fighting shows, the deaths of every person who go against them, even the innocent ones who uphold justice, is their best entertainment. This painting by Juan Luna implies the brutality of the Spaniards against the citizens of the Philippines, the type of ruthless brutality that is murderous at times. This brutality, along with the removal and withholding of the rights, has to stop. Together, this painting and the painting titled Las Vírgenes Cristianas Expuestas al Populacho describe how the Spaniards are abusing the citizens of the Philippines. Both paintings depict those in a realistic historical manner. This is a painting by Fernando Amorsolo. It shows a man armed with a bolo protecting a young woman who may be his daughter or his wife. This may represent something related to feminism. The rights of the female are worth fighting for, especially in the midst of a predominantly patriarchal society. We can see that it also has historical context. During the Japanese occupation, civilian females just become comfort women, and the man shown in this painting tries to prevent his daughter or wife from being molested by the Japanese soldiers. There is some realism to this painting, a clear influence of Renaissance style. Baroque style of art. Where did it come from? The Baroque style started in Italy circa 1600 and has become widespread in Europe, including Spain. Even if the Baroque period ended circa 1750, influences from this period still remained and has become part of the culture of countries that are former colonies of European countries. Baroque style is characterized by its complexity that may be considered redundant because of its excessive ornamentations, noisy details, and extremely complex lines. Baroque style influences in Philippine art. Churches in the Philippines have the durability of stone against fires and earthquakes, the sign of Filipino ingenuity, and the architectural beauty of Spanish Baroque style architecture mixed with Chinese influences. Church of Santa Maria, also called Iglesia de Nuestra Señora de la Asunción in Ilocos Sur. It was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site on December 11, 1993 as part of the Baroque Churches of the Philippines. According to legend, before the Santa Maria Church was built on its present site, the Virgin Mary was enshrined at a different place called Bulala. The frequent disappearance of the Virgin Mary from her previous place of enthronement, only to be found perched on a guava tree that grew where the present church is located, had led the townspeople to move the church to its present location. San Agustin Church in Manila. San Agustin Church is found inside the walls of Intramuros, the walled city inside Manila. It is also called Parokya ng Immaculada Concepcion or Parokya de la Inmaculada Concepcion. It is rebuilt to counter the bad effects of earthquakes by using the earthquake Baroque style in its design because the previous versions of this church got burned by fires and shook by earthquakes. Paoay Church. This church is also called Iglesia de San Agustin de Paoay. It is found in Ilocos Norte. It is declared as a national cultural treasure by the Philippine government in 1973 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site under the collective group of Baroque churches of the Philippines in 1993. It is also built using the style of Baroque intended to counter the bad effects of earthquakes, called Earthquake Baroque. What is Earthquake Baroque? Earthquake Baroque is a style of Baroque architecture found in the former Spanish East Indies and in Guatemala, which were Spanish-ruled territories that suffered destructive earthquakes during the 17th and the 18th centuries. Large public buildings, such as churches, were then rebuilt in a Baroque style during the Spanish colonial periods in those countries. Thank you po for listening. Thank you po for listening.